Fire Insurance 101. Let's delve into the hot concept of fire insurance. This type of coverage pays for damages to property and other losses you may suffer from a fire. But what else does it cover? Also, what are the essential things you need to know before buying a policy? Fire insurance has become a pressing issue for millions of Americans lately. In its latest survey, for example, the National Fire Association reported an average of over 354,000 house fires each year. Keep in mind that fire coverage is included in most homeowners insurance policies, but there are certain exclusions to coverage. Find out which ones. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as terrific as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about fire insurance, the basics. What is fire insurance? Fire insurance is a type of insurance that it's typically included in your homeowner's insurance policy, and it covers the cost of damages to your property due to a fire. This coverage also includes things like your personal belongings, as well as any expenses for lodging and meals above and beyond your normal living expenses up to the policy limits. Fire insurance also covers the cost of repairing or replacing damaged property in your home, along with the cost of accommodations while your home is unusable. As part of your homeowner's policy, it is subject to the same deductible and coverage limits as the rest of your policy. An important thing to remember here is that any detached structures located on your property, such as any sheds, fences, or detached garages, are also covered by most homeowners insurance policies. However, a few policies might deny some coverage, but you also have some policies who will also pay for landscaping costs, such as damage to trees and shrubs. The great thing here is fire insurance also works whether you are a homeowner or a tenant. If you live in a rental property, for example, your landlord's insurance will cover the cost of any property damage from a fire. Remember, though, that you are still on the hook for your personal possessions. So if you are a tenant and you want to cover your personal items, your personal belongings, you will need a renter's insurance policy to cover those. And this is where it is always important if you're renting, most importantly, you need to talk to your landlord before signing the contracts to have a schedule of all the insurance policies that they have and to see which insurance policies you need. This is called insurance evaluation, and by doing that, you can determine whether there is a gap, there is a deficit in coverage, a coverage gap, or there's an excess. Either way, when it comes to insurance, which is, if you think about it, a form of risk mitigation, risk management, it's never a bad thing to have an excess of insurance. It's always a bad thing to have a deficit of insurance. So this is the kind of equation, this kind of calculus you need to navigate with. How fire insurance works. This is another important element that people want to know about. In the event of a fire in your property, you'll need to file a claim with your insurance company in order to get damages covered. This is the typical journey that all insurance claims go through. Be sure, however, to take pictures of all damaged property in order to document everything for your claim. The insurance company will send a claims adjuster to your house to assess the damage. Once they are on your property, please verify their identity. Make sure that they are who they say they are. The reason being that scams are not uncommon, and you want to walk the adjuster through your property to make sure he or she sees everything and documents everything. So once you receive an estimate from your insurer, Be careful to review everything and compare it to your policy to make sure it matches the coverage you paid for. The idea here is to talk to an adjuster and be comfortable while they were doing their review, but make sure they're taking the right pictures. They're not fudging anything. I'm not saying that the adjusters are dishonest employees. No, all I'm saying is that we've heard in the news about some cases where the adjusters were not playing game, if you will. So the idea here is to have adjusters who are playing game, who are being honest with you. So you want to, once you have the estimate from your insurer, you want to go back, take your policy statement out, your policy coverage, and read everything and make sure that the coverage you paid for is exactly what the insurance is offering you, the insurance company is offering you at this very moment. This is the reason why whenever you have fire on your property, you need to document it. You need to take pictures because the adjuster may not be there the same day. The adjuster may come 3 or 4 or 5 days because they have to be dispatched to your property. They have to, first you gotta, because your insurance company they're not aware that you had a fire on your property. They only know about this when you contact them to file a claim. So as the incident is happening, you want to take pictures right away, because if say a few weeks later, or a few days later, when the adjuster shows up, the effects of the fire have waned, have diminished. This could affect your payout, your policy payout. So document everything ASAP. What does fire insurance not cover? So I spoke to you about what fire insurance covers, and I even spoke about detached structures such as sheds, fences, and detached garages. What does fire insurance not cover? Your homeowner's insurance policy will pay for damage to your home up to the policy limits for fire damage. That's clear. Everybody understands. Everybody agrees to that. Most policies, however, exclude damage caused by war, nuclear radiation, and other associated perils. Arson, for example, when a homeowner deliberately sets their home on fire, is not covered. Fire damage to a vacant home is also not covered if the home was vacant for more than 30 consecutive days at the time of the fire. This is important for folks who have vacation homes. Hear this out. Check this out. Fire damage to a vacant home is also not covered if the home was vacant for more than 30 consecutive days at the time of the fire. So a vacant homeowner's insurance policy can be purchased if you need to cover a vacant home. So for those who have a second family vacation home, you need to buy a vacant homeowner's insurance policy. So depending on where you live, your policy may exclude fire coverage for other events or charge higher premiums. Let's say you live in California, for instance, where this is an area at high risk of wildfires. Everybody knows that. You may be subject to certain limitations, because at the end of the day, insurance companies in California, or the national insurers who have exposure in California, will want to limit their losses. So with the increase in wildfires in recent years, it is especially important to check this aspect of your policy. I'm talking here about the limitations or the higher premiums. You can purchase additional fire insurance above and beyond your homeowner's policy to cover damages that your standard homeowner's policy does not. Let's say you have a car and the car is destroyed or damaged by fire at your home. This is not covered by homeowner's insurance. The cost of damage to your car, fire damage to your car, is actually paid for by something else. That's called the comprehensive portion of your auto insurance policy. If you only have liability auto insurance coverage, which is what people have because that's what the authorities have imposed. If you only have liability auto insurance coverage, damage to your car during a home fire is not covered. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How you doing? I hope you are still having a great time with us here. Really appreciate having you around. And I was just walking you through important elements of fire insurance. And if you love the clarity and quality of the content so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you can be informed in real time. And whenever we drop a new show, and we drop this kind of shows every single day, rain or shine. Let's talk about replacement cost versus actual cash value. When you talk about cash, when you talk about fire insurance or any type of insurance, by the way, you have the notions of a replacement cost versus actual cash value. It is important to know if your insurance policies pays actual cash value ACV or replacement cost RC for property damages during a fire. So if you only have ACV coverage through your homeowner's insurance, this may not be enough to replace the items you lost in a fire at today's market value. Say you bought the item 20 years ago or 10 years ago. You bought the item at 10,000, and the insurance company is paying you actual cash value. In other words, 10,000 10 years ago is probably in today's dollars 12,000 or 13,000 if we count the inflation element. But if something happens, God forbid something happens, the insurance company is paying you 10 grand, which means you're actually losing $2,000 or $3,000 based on today's amount. Actual cash value versus replacement cost is also an important consideration when it comes to rebuilding your home. So because the cost to rebuild may be significantly greater than the home's actual cash value. The replacement cost option will allow you to replace your damaged items with a new item of similar quality and cost, but your premium will be higher. This is one of the reasons why policyholders across the nations are discouraged from getting a replacement cost policy because of the premium. The premium is just crazily high. Let's talk about fire insurance for business owners. So fire damage to a business is covered in the basic business owner's policy. So this includes damage to your business building, attached and detached structures, office equipment, and inventory. So most business owners' insurance policies will also pay for additional operating expenses if you got to move your business operations to a temporary location. So keep an updated inventory of business equipment and other valuable business items. You also need to keep important documents off-site so they're not destroyed in a fire. Nowadays, with the advent of cloud technology, companies are even being encouraged to leave everything in the cloud, so that if something happens in California or something happens in Venezuela or Shanghai or anywhere else in the world where the company is located, those documents are not destroyed. One of the big questions here is that, do you need fire insurance? Because I've been talking to you about all the different elements or the ramifications of fire insurance, and the question is, do you really need it? Your home is one of your most important investments, and homeowners insurance, including fire insurance, protects you from a financial disaster. Therefore, let's say you have a mortgage. If you have a mortgage, your lender will require you to purchase homeowners insurance. However, it's a great idea to have it even if you own your home free and clear. Unless you can cover the cost of rebuilding your home out and replacing your possessions of pocket, homeowners insurance is a must. The thing here is you gotta make sure that your policy includes fire coverage, because that's the last thing you want to hear. You want to have the surprise of your life by hearing that this is not covered, this is not covered, this is not covered. You don't want that. Okay? All right, folks, we're about to wrap up today's shows, and I just want to quickly give you a recap. But before I give the recap, what is the takeaway here? What is the synopsis of today's show here? So fire insurance is usually included in your homeowner's insurance policy, but it also can be purchased as a separate or additional policy if needed. So fire insurance will cover damages to your home, personal belongings, and some other aspects of your property along with some additional cost of lodging and food during repairs. Coverage limits and deductibles will be the same amount as you have chosen for the rest of your homeowner's insurance policy. Standard life insurance does not cover arson, certain acts of war, or properties that have been vacant for more than 30 days. And the recap here today is I spoke to you about what is fire insurance, what fire insurance is, how fire insurance works, what does fire insurance gonna cover, replacement cost and actual cash value, fire insurance for business owners, and the question is, do you really need fire insurance? Thank you so much for listening to this conversation. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.